Bob, welcome. How have you seen private equity in healthcare evolve over last year?
Well, I'd say since we were here last year at JP Morgan, we've definitely seen a bit of momentum increase. We've seen an increase in transactions, over $100 billion spent in 2024, which is definitely up from 23. We've seen a slight increase in the number of transactions as well, not just in valuation. And I think the tone heading into 2025, coming out of 24, is an upbeat tone of cautious optimism, or maybe said another way, tempered optimism going in. But certainly we feel like we can carry that into 2025.
What are you expecting generally? What trends are you looking at that makes you think that momentum is going to continue into 2025?
No, it's a good question. A couple of things. One, despite some headwinds, we definitely believe the fundamentals in healthcare continue to be very attractive for investment. We're a couple of years out from COVID, so clearly that means that we have a little bit more clarity and certainty into what a lot of those end market subsectors look like post-COVID, which gives some stability and some understanding. There's over $2 trillion of dry powder being held back right now by private equity looking to be deployed. A significant portion of that being considered for healthcare. So that gives us some optimism. And we believe we're going to continue to see very interesting, high quality assets being carved out of a lot of corporate portfolios, as well as several very attractive, high quality assets held within private equity funds that we're expecting to come to market and trade this year. So for all of those reasons, we're pretty optimistic about a continued momentum and a strong 2025, we hope.
Where do you see the most significant opportunities for private equity in healthcare?
There's a lot of opportunities. I think, for private equity within healthcare, we're going to see the continued traditional areas, a lot of pharma services, some med tech subsectors are attractive. I think two areas to highlight, maybe the first being women's health. It's a very interesting part of the market. There are significant unmet and underserved needs for women. If you just take menopause as an example, 90% of the women deal with some kind of adverse effects of menopause. How to manage that? It's definitely not something that's on the radar screen for a lot of companies today. Lots of opportunity to really, reshape how research is happening, reshape where therapies can be deployed, reshape how women are engaged in the healthcare process. So for me, that's a pretty interesting area to continue to explore in a lot of ways. The other continues to be around healthcare IT and innovation. I think there's the healthcare IT platforms for the sake of healthcare IT platforms. What do I mean by that? These are applications and services that are driven into hospitals, for instance, to help drive labor productivity. We know this will move the needle, I think, for a lot of those healthcare companies struggling to remain profitable and serve patients, which is very interesting. But I think also on the healthcare IT side or on the advanced technology side, we see a real opportunity there to continue to accelerate more traditional companies and how they can bring therapies to market faster, how they might be able to tailor clinical trials in a way that allows them to bring new therapies to market in a way that is more accessible.
Go deeper on innovation. What role does innovation have to play in private equity-backed healthcare portfolios?
I think it's twofold. It's very similar to what I was just talking about. I think there are some standalone companies that some would call either digitally native or innovative in on their own. These are use case specific companies that might be targeting workflow efficiencies in a hospital or increased improvement in patient access. If you think of some of the remote health or telehealth services that provide access in communities where patients lack the access that they need to the doctors. There's another area though that says there's an awful lot of private equity portfolio companies out there, CROs, contract manufacturers for medtech companies, where we can deploy either technologies to accelerate products and therapies to market through R&D, through clinical trials in a way that allows us to reduce the time to market to those therapies. A lot of advanced technologies are allowing us to focus on segments of the market in a way that provide better outcomes of some of those therapies that are being deployed. And then on the efficiency side in some of these portfolio companies, just given the focus on improvements in those healthcare companies within private equity, think of back-end functional efficiencies, whether it's in finance, whether it's in HR, whether it's in their own IT platforms. There's a lot of work there to unlock additional value in those portfolios to make them more affordable for patients, drive access for patients. So I think there's two different ways to think about technology.
Well, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Georgie. Appreciate it.